Hey guys, it's Chris, and right now I'm going to show you my idea for the self refilling ink tip cap, right? For your CIK for your cup, right? So what I use is an Aerocolor fine acrylic ink. It's an ink you can get at any hobby store, Office Max, Staples, and it's used primarily for refilling calligraphy pens, steno pencils, brushes, things like that. And it comes with an eyedropper, which is nice because you're actually going to be sticking it into a cap. You're also going to need these door stoppers, okay? They're the standard little spring kind that have the rubber tip. And it's the rubber tip that we're going to be using. I got 2 of these for I think 99 cents. You're also going to need a little bit of super glue. And at the same paint store that I got the ink from, I got foam rollers. They're used to make stencils, but really if you find any kind of super porous artificial sponge, as long as it doesn't have the big holes like the kitchen sponges, it'll work really well. So what's nice about this set is you get different shapes. This one's corrugated, this one's kind of in a cog shape, and then you have round ones as well, and you got 3 of them for 99 cents or 99 cent euro, and we're going to use these. So the first thing you do is you take your little rubber stopper and you pull it off the end of your brass spring. Okay, then you're going to cut 2 squares of foam, or you can use old sponge bunnies if you're not doing that kind of magic anymore. And all you do is you stuff them inside of your cap. I use 2 layers. One layer is hard at the bottom, and the other layer I kind of just keep a little fluffier, but I do make sure it's all the way inside of the cap, just like that. Okay? Then I take one of these pieces that do have holes for where they were actually connected to the roller, and I cut it so that it makes a little frame to go around your cap, like that. I actually super glued that in place. This is the one that I actually have made. I super glued it in place because I found that it's easier to shove it into the cap. Now it's removable. It's going to make a removable, basically you're making a removable ink well that is going to be constantly moisturized or soaked with ink that is going to refill your tip as your tip rests inside of it. And this is going to go in your cap. So I super glued the round piece around the actual white cap. Okay? And then I just stick that into the cap like so. And you can take a pencil or you can take the plunger from the actual spring and push it all the way down in like that. And it's going to rest right in there, right in the center. Because of that circle, it's going to rest right in the center. There's other ways you can do this. You can wrap foam around it. You can wrap toilet paper or a cotton ball or gauze or anything like that, just so that natural force won't keep it. Now, you don't want to stick anything underneath the cap because I'm sure there's going to be different sizes of these stoppers. And ultimately, what you want is something that is going to rest right on the lip, like that, of the marker and prohibit it from going in any further. However, you can see the whole, there you go, you can see the whole tip of the marker is completely submerged, but the white cap is prohibiting the rest of the marker to go down in any further. Because it's sponge, when you pull it back out, the sponge, expands back to its original shape all the way up to the top. So, now you have your cap secured inside, filled with sponge, and secured on the outside so that it doesn't go anywhere. You take your medicine dropper full of ink. This is nice because it has a round little ampule at the end, and you just sit it right on top. I don't squeeze, really, maybe just a little bit, but I let just the natural soaking in of the ink to just soak into the sponge like that. What's nice is since you have sponge on the outside, holding the door stopper in place, if you do have any spillover, if your thing wiggles around a little bit in there for any reason, it's going to automatically get sopped up by the really fine sponge. And like I said, you want a fine sponge because Right now, if I turn this upside down, nothing's going to leak out of it, right? But you're also not super saturating this either. Okay, so now it's in there, and it's not going anywhere. It's not going to come out. All you do, it doesn't hurt to, while you have your ink out, to actually moisten the tip of your marker as it is, right? These markers are naturally wicking. What that means is it's going to draw moisture away, because normally this would have a ink reservoir in it in some kind of a cotton well, and the wick, or I'm sorry, the tip is going to wick that moisture away. So since that's how it's designed, when you place your tip right there inside, and it goes right there inside, and you close your marker, whatever liquid is inside that sponge, your tip is going to come in contact with it and naturally wick it up into the tip. Okay? So it's just a little added extra insurance. Do it before a show, while you're practicing a show, or before you pack up your gear to travel to a show, just to have that extra confidence that, okay, yeah, I may have put some on the pen tip itself, but also I have it in the extra reservoir as well. Because of how fine the sponge is, you know it's not going to leak out. You can actually have the reservoir upside down, and it'll really saturate your tip nicely. As long as you don't drench your sponge and your tip in ink, you shouldn't have any overflow or overage at all. And then you just take it out, and it's going to write perfectly. I've done a lot of different tests to see which sponge was the best and which holding mechanism was the best, and I found that the rubber door stoppers are perfect size. So if you have any questions, PM me, and I can also draw up a schematic for you. Okay, talk to you soon. Thanks, guys.